Let's try instead Harry from Columbus, Ohio.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you so much for taking my call. Firstly, I wanted to raise a quibble with how you pronounce a certain set of words. Now,
Uh-oh.
whenever you are using the word historic, I
Yep.
notice that you will say a or an historic, which I have no understanding of why you would say an historic. Could you care to explain that?
Yeah, this is a topic of big debate among the grammar Nazis and pronunciation experts. There are
Here I
certain,
am.
typically the rule would be that if the word starts with a vowel, it would be an, and if the word starts with a consonant, it would be a. So a cat versus an apple. The thing
So,
about
real
his,
quickly, just before we go on, so I know what you're talking about, and if we use the word, let's say, hour, like the hour of the day, we would say, oh, it took an hour to get there because we pronounce the word hour with a silent H,
yes,
correct? But
yes.
the word historic, we do not have a silent H. We have a very hard H.
Well, the
And
thing
as a
about that
Harry,
is,
I'm a
and
little
I
bit, go ahead.
apologize in order to fight back against your interruption, I am now going to interrupt.
Please do.
The thing about historic is there are some words where, when pronounced in isolation, they have a very clear consonant sound. Like if I just say historic, but historic has a relatively soft H when in context. And that is why my understanding is that it is acceptable to say an historic, and you're kind of running it together.
If that is how you see it, I can't disagree with it. We'll just have to agree to disagree on that.
That's fair.
Secondly, real quickly, and I wanted to get into this, how do you feel about the now that JD Vance has completely, kind of fallen off the wagon a bit, in my
Yeah.
opinion?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Josh Mandel Gibbons with the pre-note that Mandel ran against Senator what's his name in 2012? He ran against the current Democratic senator from Ohio,
Oh,
Sherrod Brown,
Sherrod
and
Brown, yeah.
lost.
Listen, I
So
think that
go
they're
ahead.
all toxic. I think that all of those Republican primary candidates are all completely toxic. Now, you're completely right. Like, listen, a couple years ago, I bought the book Hillbilly Elegy. Everybody said, listen, this book, this is a good story of growing up in the rural, poor, white Midwest and South. You'll understand conservatism. You should really read this book. And I read J.D.
Right,
Vance's book. And
right.
first of all, I mean, his grandma, as he writes in the book, was like a Kennedy Democrat. So it's not even like, it wasn't even that great of an expose about conservatism because his family was actually
Sure.
sort of liberal. But anyway, I was like, okay, this is like a thinking guy. And he has gone completely off the rails, pro Trump, or at least hesitating to criticize Trump and just bottom of the barrel, red meat. He's absolutely, I'm embarrassed that I thought he was mildly reasonable after reading the book.
Yeah, I can see where that perspective came from. And a lot of people still hold that perspective without the knowledge of what he said otherwise. Now, real quickly before I drop, Mandel, I think if Mandel starts the surge, I don't think Trump will throw his hat in the ring. I think he'll see that Mandel lost in 2012. He's a loser, quote unquote.
Yep.
I expect Mike Gibbons to really start to pull ahead if Trump, nominates or, recommends
Endorses.
him. But Trump has been extremely, extremely scared to put his voice like into this race.
Yeah, I
So
think he
I'll
may
be
just
down
be
there
waiting
progressive.
to see how it shakes out before he does. When's the primary there?
The primary is May 3rd, but as you may or may not have heard, we've had a lot of issues regarding congressional maps, lots of time in the Supreme Court of Ohio. And as of yesterday, Ohio ACLU is suing the GOP map makers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still got a lot of story left to play out here in Ohio. Thanks for taking the
Gotcha.
call, David.
Hey, real quick, are you talking through a voice modulator or through some kind of metal screen?
I am using a Bluetooth headset that is probably not the optimal way of talking. I'll try to get on a better microphone next time we speak. Thank you for bringing it
Beautiful.
up.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate the call.
Of course.
Wow, what a phone call, guys. It is really something else today.